Good evening, everyone. I think we'll get started. Looks like we have about 35 folks with us. and the waiting room is off. So if people come in a little bit, they'll be fine. I just want to remind you all, if you could keep your mics muted until you wish to speak. I see everybody's muted now. That's fantastic. This way, there'll be less distraction for everyone to hear. And I think you may have noticed this when you clicked in, that this meeting is being recorded for posting and playback later. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. So good evening. I hope you and your families are all doing well and that you're all having a restful summer vacation. The start of school year is just around the corner, believe it or not. And I wanted to give you all an update this time and the latest information regarding our plans to reopen schools on September 1st. If you've been tuning in to our Board of Education meetings, you have been hearing me report on this item with the board. You're going to hear similar information this evening, and I'll also be able to answer some questions that you may have at the end of the meeting. I think you may know we have received CDC guidance that's been issued for some time now. Earlier in the week, we received guidance from Suffolk County Department of Health. And just before this meeting, we received guidance from the State Education Department. However, since that just came in, I'm going to be honest with you, I just quickly looked at it and I'm not really going to be able to comment on the guidance we just received from the State Education Department. But it does appear to be in line with what our plans have been all along anyway. So let me talk to you about what our plans are thus far. So we are planning, as the CDC recommends, as the DOH recommends, for infection control preventions. And what that means is social distancing, promoting hand washing, encouraging families and staff to stay home when sick, and the wearing of masks. In terms of social distancing, it will be 6 foot in general when possible, and that's mostly walking in the hallways, etc. We're looking to have 3 to 6 feet classroom desk spacing where possible. I think you know that we moved inside that mark last school year. When it comes to lunch, our students will be 6 feet apart when eating. What we're looking at this year at the elementary schools is a combination of in the classroom and in the cafeteria on a rotating basis. This way we can maintain cohorting and also stick with that 6 foot distance. Some of our schools, our elementary schools, will be able to handle the 6 foot and the cafeteria, and they will do that as well. At the secondary level, we are going to use the cafeterias with overflow areas as we did last school year. We are exploring the use of tents at the secondary level for lunch overflow or an outdoor eating. However, that's a little bit more difficult than we thought it was going to be due to SCD regulations. So if that happens, it's not going to happen when school opens, but we haven't given up hope on looking at that. In terms of hall lockers, we're not going to use those for students at the secondary level next year. This way we can cut down on the congregating in the halls. In terms of the plan for masking, masks are going to be required indoors with mask breaks as last year. Outdoors, no requirement for masks, and masks will be required on the bus on school transportation. We are planning to conduct the temperature checks upon school entry as we did last school year. And we also are planning for the daily attestation requirement. And that is for students, the self-screening at home that you did with your children, and for staff for their self-screening before they come to school and also at home. We are planning to offer remote learning when students are on quarantine, whether individually or as a classroom. In fact, that's a requirement in the state this year. That is one thing that I did see in the report in the state guidance just before this meeting. We are planning to conduct contact tracing, and that's a requirement of DOH. We are planning for after-school activities in grades 4 through 12. So you may remember last school year, We were doing 7 through 12 for after-school activities. We got going towards the end of the year. This year, we're going to kick that off right at the 4th grade. So Frank D. Long will also be involved with that. And we're going to plan for that throughout the school year. In terms of remote only learning option. So in-person teaching and learning is preferred. That's clear by the district and also clear by New York State. Remote learning is permitted, but it's currently not mandated by the state as it was last year. In the new guidance, the state has indicated that any remote learning program must be deemed to be in the best interest of the student. And they further define that as this can be where a documented medical condition has prohibited the safe return to an in-person instruction, and or where students who have otherwise struggled have excelled with remote learning. I don't know exactly how we're going to look at that. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't even discussed that with the board yet because that guidance just came in. So that will be a topic of conversation with the board next week. But I did want to mention that because it is included in the state's guidance. I would also expect that participation will more than likely require a school year commitment for grades K to 6 and probably a semester commitment for grades 7 through 12 with strict attendance requirements. We had some real issues, not with all remote learners, but with some remote learners and the connections with school, and we are concerned about that. We are currently exploring offering the remote only option either through Eastern Suffolk BOCES and outsource it. And we are also exploring offering our own remote control, a remote only option here in the district. And in our program, if we end up offering it instead of the out of district program, we will be using the recommendations of the Moving Forward committees. Now, you may recall we had 2 committees meet at the end of last school year. They did some really good work, some really good recommendations, and we are going to use those for the basis of our remote program that as we move forward. I do want to alert you to, I am sending out a survey this evening. Actually, it's scheduled to go out at 6:30 with regard to remote learning and to see who is interested in doing it. We do need to get a handle on what those numbers might look like because obviously any program design is going to be necessary to determine how many kids we have participating, whether it's outsourced or if it's in-source. So that will be going out at 6:30 this evening. And I think the turnaround is a week. So next Thursday, it's going to be due. In terms of visitors, we are going to begin the school year with essential visitors only during the school day. That doesn't mean parents won't be allowed. There'll be times that parents will be essential, but that'll be determined through the principal, and we will move forward in that direction. Visitors are going to be permitted in for evening meetings and athletics. Our first parent-teacher conference is going to be virtual, however. And the Meet the Teacher, we have not decided yet. So you'll get more information from your principal with regard to Meet the Teacher, whether that's going to be virtual or in person at a later date. In terms of the use of facilities, last school year, we ended opening up our outdoor facilities to the community, and we're going to continue that. Indoors are still on hold, given the variant and not knowing where we're going to be by the time of the opening of school. We're going to hold on that, and I need to also have that discussion with the board as well moving forward. And that basically are our plans at this time. I'll be happy to address any questions that anyone might have. Please understand that it is a little early, and like I said, the guidance from the state just came in, and I do need to examine it. But my plan is to prepare a document for the board's review for next week. It's not going to be the lengthy document that you saw last school year. The state has not required a reopening plan of districts this year. However, I think it's important to put the important stuff, so to speak, on paper, so everybody has the same information in front of them, and they know what we're doing. So that document's going to be prepared between now and next Wednesday for the board's first review next week. And now I'd be happy to address any questions that anyone might have. Don't know the best way to do this. I think the best way to do it is just to unmute yourself and speak. And if someone hears someone else talking, hold off. Anyone?
Could I just ask you, yes, in regard to the masks?
Can you also, I'm sorry, could you also say who you are so everybody knows?
Sure. Hi, I'm Catherine Alrasta, and I'm a reporter from the Long Island Advance, and I'm doing a story about the school opening. You invited my editor, Nicole. So I'm here to do that. So any of the parents who aren't here, I'm doing a little story for them. So I just wanted to make sure with the masks, is that for all ages, or was that just the secondary students?
No, that's everyone. That's everyone in the building.
So all ages, they anywhere inside they have to wear masks, outside they don't, and then they get the mask breaks.
Yes, just
Okay.
just as we closed last year.
Okay.
And also let me qualify that.
Okay.
This is this will be my recommendation to the board on Wednesday. So it ultimately will need to be approved by the board. So,
okay.
So while I am saying it, the board will still need to approve it. Okay. Any questions from parents?
I do have a question, if
Sure.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I have a question about orientation, because I know you're saying that everything is going to be remote right now, but are we still doing the orientation on the 31st in the school?
Yep. That's all. Yep. It's still you're still coming in. Yep.
Okay, so I still haven't received like a packet for like what room and teacher or anything like that.
What's the grade level?
Kindergarten.
Oh, kindergarten. I believe that, did that not go out already? Did that flyer not go out? I've seen it.
I mean,
Ms.
what
Brown,
flyer?
Yeah, all right. Why don't you reach out to your school? All right, because that is happening. That is in person.
Okay, I just didn't know which room. I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I wish I could give you the room. Reach out to your principal. It's definitely happening.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Gianni, I have a question.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Sandra Cullen.
Hi.
I just have a question about the barriers. I know that the masks are going to be in place. How about the barriers?
Yeah, no, the barriers are not going to be in place. I don't know if you recall, at the end of last school year, CDC determined that the barriers weren't doing any good.
Yep, I'm a nurse, I know.
Yeah, we
All
left,
right,
listen, we left them up because it was the job getting them up.
Yeah.
And it would be our job getting them down. But
Yeah.
over the break, we took them all down, and we haven't
All right.
scored in the event that we're going to need them for something, but they're.
Very good to hear. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else? I'm sure.
Yes, hi, I have, my son's going into 7th grade. I'm just curious, I might have missed it. Is the plan for the children to use Chromebooks again, or will they be doing traditional learning in the classroom?
Oh, no, we are a one-to-one district, so every child will be assigned to Chromebook. So there'll be a combination, obviously in-person learning, but Chromebooks will be used. But different, I'm glad you asked the question, different from last year. The Chromebooks in K-5 are going to be staying in the school unless the teacher assigns them to go home. 6 through 12, they're going to be one-to-one and assigned to the student to go back and forth. Okay.
Thank you.
Every child will have a Chromebook.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, that's great. Listen, I hope you know the same link that you used this evening is going to be for 2 weeks from now, at which time I anticipate I'm going to have a lot more information for you and maybe even some more questions based on the reopening plan. And hopefully at that point, I'll have a board approved plan and we'll all be able to speak from one document. So thank you all for joining me this evening.
Question?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. A quick question about the before and after care program. I understand the YMCA is beginning it September 12th or 13th. Are there any options for the two or so weeks leading up to that?
Not that I'm aware with the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club is also doing, and not only an aftercare program. The flyer for the Y is coming out soon. We needed to make an adjustment on it, and the person that's involved at the Y has not been around to do it. But I don't think there are any other options besides that. I mean, the Boys and Girls Club aftercare, it may be an earlier date, but I don't think before care.
Okay. I'm a teacher. I start the same time you all do, and I do not know what to do with my third grader for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Maybe if you contacted the Y directly, there's some options available there.
Okay.
That may be a
Thank you.
possibility. You're welcome.
Mr. Gianni, it's Catherine again from the newspaper. Would I be able to email you, just to confirm a couple things, because I just don't want to get anything wrong?
Sure. Yeah, include my assistant, Sarah Chepolo. Okay?
All right, is her, the email address on the website by any chance?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she's on there.
All right,
And Nicole has it. So Nicole will be able to give it to you.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Gianni,
Hi,
one
Doc.
quick
Oh,
question.
Okay, go ahead. Somebody's talking.
Just one quick question. The in-person is every day, Monday through Friday from K through 12, correct?
Yes, there no remote Wednesdays.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Dr. Yanni. I just want to confirm one point that you made about the remote learning. You said that the participation, you're looking for school year for K-5 and then secondary 6-12?
No, I said K6 and 7-12. See, it depends which way we go, Ms. Cologne, because some of the out service providers are K6, and that's their requirement school year. So that's why I said K6. I figured I'd be safer saying K6 than K5.
No, I
Which way,
understand.
it depends which way we go, and it depends which service provider. It could very well be semesterly, depending upon who we ultimately go with.
Right. So if it's district, then it could be semesterly for secondary level and then K-5 at the year.
Yeah.
Okay, and one more question about that. I just lost my whole train of thought. I'm sorry.
Right.
But as far as the, would it still be a case by case basis for children? Because obviously some of our sixth graders would be turning 12 and things change at the 12-year mark, right? The age wise for vaccinations and things like that. Would it be like a thing where they could come back into school?
Listen, you know me, extenuating circumstances are there, and I'll certainly consider those things. It depends upon where we go with it, right? So if it's an outside service provider, I can't tell you that they're going to have the same flexibility as we as a district would. I mean, I certainly would. And I think the piece that you just mentioned about the vaccination availability is a good reason to come back to in person. Absolutely.
Right, because obviously at the end of the day, in person is the optimal environment.
Right.
But we all know that there's cases where there's people that need to stay home for various reasons,
Right.
but things change. So if things get better, I think that that's something just to make mention that, if things change, could there be a movement? So.
Okay. I agree with you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Gianni,
Yes.
just a quick question. I think I might have missed it. With the remote learning, is it something you're exploring, or is it something you're definitely going to do? You're just not sure if you're outsourcing or if you're going to be within the district?
Yeah, the latter. We're definitely going to offer something. We just don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because I was on that committee for the remote learning.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. It was actually a good idea. So we came up with some
great.
really good plans.
Yeah, I was very happy. It was a committee of parents and teachers, and they worked very well together. I was very happy about that.
Thank
I
you.
second that. Everybody worked very well to come up with plans, what we knew didn't work and what worked. It was very, I was honored to be a part of it, the secondary committee.
And thank you as well, Ms. Brown, for your service on that committee. Okay.
Dr. Gianni, I have a question. My name is Danielle Betty. My son is going to be a senior this year. And basically, I'm just wondering if there's any discussion as to what could happen if, God forbid, the numbers really start to explode as we get people in the mix. And despite the best intentions, and social distancing is hard enough when there was half the kids in school last year. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it when everybody's there, or a greater majority. But anyway, is there something being planned for what's going to happen if the numbers get really bad again?
Listen, if the number, we are prepared to go total remote now that we are a one-to-one district. And it's clear in the state guidance that we will need to be prepared in the event of community transmissions warrant that. You know, that something like that would be directed by you know, our local DOH. But we will be prepared to go total remote if conditions get worse.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Do I have any other questions? Okay. All right, folks. Next time, feel free to tune in. I think.
I'm sorry, Dr. Gianni. Can I just grab you for one quick second? Hi, Dorothy Ditas. Just wondering, it was because it was outlined by the Balone. Will we be looking into taking the option of having the kids that are vaccinated, include that with their vaccination records that they'll be submitting to the school to basically kind of help facilitate the nurse if there is any issues of quarantining going forward?
Yeah, I think that obviously when it comes to quarantine, we can ask that information, but
Okay.
I'm not sure we can ask it without a reason to ask it this time.
The wording of it is actually, they were suggesting that the schools collect that data to have.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of things that are suggested that aren't totally legal.
Okay.
We're in the process of trying to get a percentage of our faculty and staff that are vaccinated now.
Okay.
I think once the kids are back, then I'm going to tackle the student vaccination piece.
Okay.
But I did read that guidance from Balone, and believe it or not, it also is mentioned in the state guidance as well.
Okay, that I had seen as well. Okay, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Hi, it's Catherine Mahoney. I just have a quick question. I didn't get in on about 5:30, missed about 10 minutes of it. Is this going to be recorded and available on the website?
Yes, it's being recorded.
Okay.
It is, and it will be available on the website.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Are we good? All righty. So again, same link. Next meeting is the 26th. Am I correct? 2 weeks from now. Okay, folks. I'm sorry?
Do you need these?
Oh, yes.
I don't think that's directed to me. Okay, folks, thank you so much for joining me this evening, and
You're welcome.
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr.
And
Gianni.
feel free to tune into the
Thank
board
you.
meeting. Tune into the board meeting next week as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Gianni.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
bye.
Thank you, bye-bye.
How do I get out of this thing?